What up, everybody? This is your Cosmic Homegirl, and I'm doing a weekly forecast for you guys for the week of June 23rd, 2019. So it's actually the last week of June that I'm covering, June 23rd through the 30th. You know, the 30th is the last day of June. So I'm going to see what's going on with the cosmic weather for this week for everybody as a collective and how we're going to be feeling, what's going on, what's popping off. But before I get into that, don't forget that I do have a summer sale on readings. I do have love and romance readings on sale only through July 1st. So that is readings that are all about your love life. So it's especially for singles if you want to know like who you attract and why, and if you want like a horoscope to tell you when you might be likely to meet somebody and have like a serious thing going on, or even just some more romance in your life. I can look into that too. So that's the love and romance readings that are on sale. Also eclipse readings. The eclipses are actually next week. We're going to have our first eclipse of the summer in the sign of Cancer, and that happens on July 2nd. So if you want to know how that eclipse and then the one 2 weeks later affects you personally in your personal life, because eclipses will rock your world, okay, then go ahead and hit my website on the specials page. I have eclipse readings for you guys. Also, I have a class on the 26th. Join me on the 26th of June here on my YouTube. Actually, it is a class that you do have to pay a small fee for. It's only $10, $9.99 for me to teach you guys some of the very basic language of astrology. So this is for newbies that only know about very, very little with astrology. Maybe you only know that your sun sign is Cancer and you don't really know much beyond that. You want to know what we're talking about when we talk about houses and aspects and angles and, you know, all the other planetary transits, and what does this mean when Mars is here? What does Venus do? Like, what is all this stuff? If you want to know any of that, make sure you go to the specials page on my website. I will leave links in the description box for all of that too. So join me for my class on the 26th of June on Wednesday live. You can have an opportunity to ask questions. The Q&A is only during the live class, okay? There's no Q&A after, okay? So make sure you take advantage of that, even though the recorded class will be available later, but no Q&A. So now that we've got all that out of the way, oh wait, one last thing. I have readings that are also covering the last half of 2019. We have Mercury retrograde in July. We have 2 eclipses. We have Mercury retrograde again in the fall. We have eclipses in the winter. If you want to know how all of that stuff affects you personally and any other personal transits that are to your chart, then that's the last half of 2019 special readings that I have too. So check those on my website as well. Okay, so what's going on this week, the week of the 23rd of June? Well, what's lingering? We still have Mercury and Mars together. So Mercury is how you talk. It's what you're thinking about. It's expression of your thoughts. And Mars can be very aggressive energy. So people are still kind of snippety snappity out there. Just being honest. People are like, look, I just want to be direct about things and get things done. People are a little more impatient with this too, with Mercury and Mars together. Some people are out there scrapping. Some people are fighting, you know, taking words very personally, which is Mercury and Cancer, and fighting because of it, or just being extra like angry, you know, which is Mars. This energy is still lingering through this week. It is good for, you know, accomplishing tasks, like just directly going after them, not procrastinating. Even though Cancer energy, all the water signs can be like procrastinators, because water energy takes its time. You know, it feels things out. Make sure that things feel right before they act. But these two together can be like very sharp. Okay, very sharp movements, actions, short, small actions. That is, and also, you know, speech and communication can still be a little sharp. And especially if we feel some type of way, you know, everybody says that I feel some type of way. Like if you're in your feelings and anybody is provoking those feelings, you're going to want to say something, and not just kind of kick back and let it, you know, just sit there. Like this energy together will definitely say some stuff. And they still are opposing Pluto. And Pluto is drive, like, well, Mars is your drive. Mars is very passionate energy too. And Pluto is also like, I see what I want, I'm gonna go after it with tunnel vision. That's Pluto. So we still have that hanging around with how we're taking action, and also our thoughts. We could be a little bit more obsessive too, like just really full speed ahead with what we want, who we want, what we want to achieve, what, like getting from point A to point B. That point B is all you're gonna see when we have these planets opposing Pluto. Now, of course, Mercury is the hands and Mars is anger and aggression, and Pluto could be violence. So I think I may have explained this last week, that this could be a little bit of a violent energy for some people. They can be like, trying to throw some blows or whatever with this, especially if you talk about their family, their loved ones. People could be like mad sensitive about that, and be like, what you say about my mama? Like, those moments will happen with this combination of these two planets opposing this planet here. So just be aware of that. Okay. Also, so we have that lingering. We have the sun finally in the sign of Cancer. The sun joins Mercury and Mars. So for a good part of the week, we do have mostly, energy in the sign of Cancer. So it is very sensitive. As a collective, yes, we may be more sensitive, more nostalgic, wanting to just be with our families or people that are very close to us that we consider family, even if they're not blood related, just those that like know us the most, And a lot of us may be retreating into our shells a little bit more, which means like you're going within, you're feeling things out, and, not really wanting to come out into the world as much. And it, of course, depends on your chart. And I will post on my Instagram at some point this weekend how the sun in Cancer is going to affect everybody, because the sun will be in Cancer illuminating a certain area of your life until July 22nd. So it affects everybody differently, but also at the same time, collectively, we can be feeling like, like we just want to be with family, have some good grub, share some memories and some photos and, letters, and it'd be very nostalgic and be in our feels. Now also Mercury is now in its shadow period in Cancer as well, and Mercury is our thoughts and communication and stuff. So nostalgia, remember the time, all that stuff is definitely in full effect. And because Mercury is in shadow period and it's in a conjunction with Mars opposing Pluto, be careful driving out there, everybody. Please be careful driving, because when Mercury's in its shadow period, that's when like the stupidity begins with the backwards brain driving and operating things. And also some people may notice like their phones are wigging out a little bit. There's miscommunication. There's messages that aren't going through. You try to type and it's like, make you look like hella illiterate. That's always what happens to me when Mercury's in shadow and retrograde. I know that it's began once I can't type for you know what I'm saying? And I'm usually pretty good at typing things out and very meticulous. But it has begun, okay? And this is in an emotional water sign, so people are going to be very sensitive about their memories and going back to the past and stuff. Maybe getting a little too caught up in their feelings, hopefully not, but that is a possibility with Mercury in shadow in Cancer. Mercury is going to go retrograde in Cancer in the month of July, which I will be here to cover that. But once again, if you want to know how it affects you, I do have readings that do cover that part of this year also. Okay, but yeah, this is what's still going on. Now, on the 23rd itself, we have Venus still in Gemini. It's at 18 degrees of Gemini, and it's making a square aspect to Neptune. Well, actually, it's going to be opposing. It's opposing Jupiter on that day and squaring Neptune. So I'm gonna say the 23rd and 24th is the strongest, right? So once again, I'm on Pacific time in the US. So this is like in the morning, but do the math of whatever your time zone is based on Pacific time to figure out when is this going to be exact. But yeah, all you need to know is on the 23rd, we have Venus opposing Jupiter and squaring Neptune. Now, with this mutable energy, I always tell you guys the good and the bad, right? Squares and oppositions are negative aspects. That's why they're always in red when we show them on charts like this. They're challenges, but there's still some good to them. Now, I've been telling you guys all the time, every time there's some mutable energy very heavy in the air, like especially in these tricky signs of Gemini, Pisces, and Sagittarius, the thievery is on high. Okay, the scammery, the thievery, the promising more than you can deliver, all of that is on high during this time. And let me tell you, my car was broken into yesterday. Okay, I've been telling you guys, watch your stuff. Luckily, I didn't suffer too badly with that experience. Let's just say that, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But yeah, my car was broken into. Okay, so they didn't damage anything, but they stole stuff, of course. And also, I just learned that a neighbor was like sneakily robbed. And, it's just that is on high when we have these trickster, like the lower vibration of Gemini is very trickster. Of Pisces is very like deceptive. Of Sagittarius can also be deceptive. Like, what? I just do whatever. I do what I want. All these energies can be like that. So when we have a combination of them in the air, hey, it's just inevitable. There's going to be a heightened, chance of incidents like of being robbed or having your information stolen and, stuff like that. So just be careful out there, you guys. Just protect your stuff. I know I'm preaching to the choir because look what happened to me. My car was broken into. Yay, joy. So, this and Venus rules your personal belongings, your material things. So, that's and it's money as well. So, these aspects are not very good for finances, money, and material things. Not good for purchasing stuff. You need to be cautious of your purchases. You need to, keep track of your money pretty well because you could be drained of it somehow or scammed or schemed out of it this weekend. So beware of I posted before. There's a gif of this guy just like rubbing his hands like, yeah. He has this mischievous look like, who can I scheme on? Yeah. Like, beware of those. Okay. So, that's popping off this weekend, and it's very, very strong on the 23rd. Now, what this energy is good for, Venus is creativity, and it's what we enjoy. It's what we enjoy doing in life as physical human beings. And then we have Jupiter, which is optimism and going after things. Thinking big, dreaming big is Jupiter, and actually saying, you know what, I set my sights on this huge goal and I can really see myself achieving it, so I'm going to go after it. That's Jupiter. And then so Venus and Jupiter are opposing each other, but this is big dreamer energy. And then Venus and Neptune are squaring each other, and Neptune is also a dreamer planet. It is the planet of actual dreams. Like when you sleep at night, what do you dream about? It's your daydreams. In the daytime, when you're consciously awake, but you're kind of like trailing off into another zone, like what's going on up there during that time? The things that you want that may seem unattainable to others, but to you, they're absolutely real. That's Neptune. Jupiter could be like that to some degree too. So we have Venus opposing those things. Now, when it comes to love, there's a lot of idealism and fantasy in the air, which can be actually a lot of fun to indulge in. A lot of fun. If you have anybody or people that are cool, you can participate in healthy, safe escapism. Just kind of not even worry about what time it is or, how long you have to hang out. Like if you have opportunities like that under this influence, take them. I'd say take them. This has already been building up, over this past week. And I've definitely done some of that, through music, things that Neptune rules that are safe, I guess you could say, like music and dance and, just not caring about the time. I've definitely indulged in some of that and it's been awesome. So, there is some good things that you can do with this energy. It's not just all about being schemed on and scammed, but yes, if you are a creative person, the weekend, the 22nd, the 23rd, and also, the beginning of the week, the 24th, 25th, this energy is really hot and popping, and you could be at your absolute best when it comes to creativity. You can come up with some really dope concepts of things. Just your mind will be so open to what's beyond this practical world. So that's what it takes for you to be like a really good artist, and have a creative mindset. So yeah, just create, or just, chill with people that make you forget about all your problems. Of course, you still have to face your problems the next day, okay? But if you have opportunities to just get away for a bit, you know, this is beautiful energy for that, actually. Okay, so that's the 23rd, and you know, the 24th, we still have that. Oh, I forgot to mention on the 23rd, we have the moon in Pisces. Oops, the day. The 23rd, the moon is in Pisces. It'll come into a conjunction with Neptune. Let's see, probably, yeah, like in the evening time. In the evening time in the US, or you know, maybe early in the morning on the in the eastern part of the world. It could be the next day. Moon and Neptune, beautiful energy for like connecting to spirituality, connecting to like music and stuff. And this is escapism as well. We do have the Venus, they're squaring Venus. The moon will be squaring Venus at that time. There could be maybe some like back and forth between what you want, as far as like with the head and the heart, you know, what you want versus like what makes you emotionally fulfilled. That could be like a conflict that goes on within you. And you know, this is also your mind. The moon is the inner mind and your emotions, and then it's conjunct Neptune, square Jupiter. It's still a lot of dreamer energy, idealism, you know, maybe a little bit of confusion as far as like what you want and things like that. So but yes, this is beautiful for just chilling, watching movies, listening to music, participating in anything spiritual, you know. So that's what this can mean. So the moon will be in Pisces, and also the moon in Pisces, when it's conjunct Neptune especially, it makes you very sleepy. It can make you very sleepy and just kind of daydreaming a lot and dozing off, and it's very hard for you to focus on practical stuff. So good thing this is on a Sunday, but it still carries into the next day. The 24th, the moon will be in Pisces until the evening time in the US. Yeah, until the evening time in the US. It'll be in Pisces, and it'll slip into Aries like that evening or the next day if you're in the eastern part of the world. But yeah, the 24th, moon in Aries. We still have the Venus, Jupiter opposition, Venus square Neptune. Moon in Aries, this is when people they wake up, they're more in a rush, they're more trying to get things done, they're not trying to waste any time. You know, moon in Pisces days could be like lagging. We're just kind of floating hippies in our little zone. And then moon in Aries is like, oh, you know what? Time to get up, time to get to work, time to be first on the scene, crispy and clean, you know, fresh out there, just like moving and getting things accomplished, and being competitive and all that. So that's moon in Aries. People are very impatient when the moon's in Aries. It doesn't matter what sign you are. This is an energy where you may find yourself like snapping up, like, okay, it's time to get up. And yeah, people drive crazier when the moon's in Aries. But yeah, the moon will be in a conjunction with Chiron. That is the wounded healer. Remember, that's where we can have our biggest soft spot, to where we feel like we've been hurt. You know, it can bring up some old wounds or current ones, even when the moon is in a conjunction with Chiron. And this is going to be more like on the 25th when this conjunction happens. It can make people feel that little pain, you know, in their hearts and stuff, like, and a little bit of sadness sometimes. And, you know, this is moon in Aries, which is a go-getter energy, and it's very like team no feelings. But this encounter with Chiron that it's going to have every month, once a month, it can bring out some more sensitivity. And then we still have, you know, the sun in Cancer, which it's squaring that. So maybe there's some things about family and, you know, you personally versus family, you and your emotional self versus like the part of you that doesn't want to be too emotional, inner conflicts with that could be going on this day, on the 25th. Yeah, so, you know, that's the moon in Aries. And so we have, you know, the sun continuing to be in Cancer, of course. And then we have on the 26th, moon still in Aries. It's moved away from Chiron, thank goodness, but it's going to be squaring all this Cancer stuff. It's going to be squaring Mars. Mars rules the sign of Aries. Mars rules anger and aggression too. So moon square Mars days, oh yeah, they could be a little difficult. Not going to lie. They can be a little bit more like harder to control your anger. And, you know, for some people that can be an issue. But we do have on the 26th, Mercury moving into the sign of Leo. So Mercury slips into Leo the evening of the 26th. Okay. And, Mercury and Leo is more bragging and boastful, but it's also fun and funny and animated. I noticed that people who have Mercury and Leo, they're good storytellers. They're very entertaining storytellers. And they just like are the life of the party, you know. So we may be more excited when we speak, more excitable, like, yeah, but also a lot of speech can be bragging and ego driven. So, you know, just try not to tap into that. Like Mercury and Leo, this is one of the Mercury signs. Mercury and Leo and Mercury and Aquarius, they're the ones that drag their words out like, oh, I am blah 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 blah. Like they talk like that. Mercury and like, oh, I'm so regal. Like, oh, I'm the king, I am the queen, yes, I know everything, everyone worships me. That's Mercury and Leo. So if you notice people drag their words out like that, they probably have this, you know. But anyway, as a collective, we will all be more childlike, fun, romantic. It's very romantic energy, Leo energy. I love it so much. So yeah, we'll all get a little bit of a taste of it for a little bit. Mercury here, it's going to be, you know, in Leo. It's only going to get up to 4 degrees of Leo. And then it's going to go retrograde. But that is next month in July. So we'll talk more about that then. But it only gets up to 4 degrees of Leo, and then it retrogrades back into Cancer, back to like 24 degrees Cancer, stays there, and then goes direct again. Okay, so it's going to hit like this, these like first 4 degrees of Leo, it's going to hit 3 times. So pay attention to what's going on, like the 26th through, let's see, the 26th of June, through like the 7th of July. Pay attention to what's going on wherever Leo is in your natal chart, because that's where like the Mercury retrograde could be it's activating some stuff. You know, you're going back over things. You could be reviewing things and maybe changing your mind about things, and you know, wherever Leo is at, and then wherever Cancer is at in your chart. But yeah, so we have Mercury and Leo for just a little bit. It is in shadow period. Try not to be too like excited about things and moving forward with things with it being in this excitable fire sign, because things can change with retrogrades. That's all I'm going to say about that. And yeah, so that's pretty much what we have going on this week. And, you know, I'm covering through the 30th, so I guess I'll just talk about the moon. We still have these aspects lingering, the Venus opposing Jupiter, square Neptune, still through the rest of the week. We have that going on. We have the moon in Taurus on the 27th. So probably like early in the day, early in the morning, it goes into the sign of Taurus. Yeah. So this is Pacific time. Yeah. So it goes into the sign of Taurus early in the morning. It'll be in a conjunction with Uranus. So that is very kooky energy. It's like excitable, fun, weird energy, but also this is Uranus, which is nervous energy, electric shocks, you know. So if it's shocking the moon, which rules our emotions, then we can kind of just be like antsy and emotional and nervous about certain things, especially things that have to do with our security, our money, our food, our material things. Like, are we gonna have enough? Oh my gosh, like kind of freaking out a little bit about stuff like that. When the moon conjuncts Uranus. But yeah, moon and Taurus days, they're usually pretty chill. But when Uranus is involved, it's like, bzz, you know, that's not chill at all. So probably not until the 28th. Yeah, 333. That's one of my numbers. Yeah, on the 28th, the moon will be a little more smooth sailing. It's making nothing but good aspects. A good aspect to Neptune, good aspect to you know, the planets in Cancer, good aspect to Saturn and Pluto. It does make a challenge to Jupiter. It's called an in conjunction. I don't really use that aspect that much. I'm actually still taking notes and studying it. It's kind of new to me before I actually use it. I usually take like couple years at least sometimes before I incorporate certain things into my astrological practice and like bring it out. But I've been using the basic aspects for years, so that's why I stick to those. But yeah, pretty much the moon in Taurus, smooth sailing, you know what I'm saying, over the next couple of days, the 28th, and then the 29th, the moon goes into Gemini. And then it's going to be some challenging mutable energy again, to where, you know, the moon, once again, it's our emotions. They can be quite wishy-washy and fickle when it's in Gemini. It's going to, this is a good moon for like just being very talkative though, like just chopping it up with people, talking to them, sharing memes and jokes and stuff, and laughing about stupid stuff. That's totally moon and Gemini days. Everything is funny, everything's a joke. I love moon and Gemini days for that. Just to be mercurial and silly and goofy, you know, be very court jester like. And people are more willing to accept those goofy moments of like stupid messages that you share with them and jokes and things. So yeah, the moon will be in Gemini starting on the 29th. And then on the 30th, we still have the moon in Gemini. This is when it's going to be making challenging aspects, like an opposition to Jupiter and a square to Neptune. So that can be very wishy-washy and fickle, like I want this, but then 2 seconds later I don't. I thought I liked this, but I don't now. I liked this person 5 seconds ago, now I change my mind. Oh my god, I don't know how. I'm a mutable moon, so trust me, I go through my roller coaster moments, but I think all the earth in my chart with all the Taurus stuff I have kind of weighs it down. But people who are like hella mutable with all like more than one mutable sign in your chart, how do you guys deal? Like, oh my god, really, with changing your mind that much and being that picky? OMG, how do you deal with yourselves? I'm just saying. But anyway, yeah, moon in Gemini, still very fun, playful energy. This is still dreamer, idealistic energy. Great for coming up with creative ideas and concepts, once again, but for, you know, committing to things and being very practical, not the best day. Good thing it's a Sunday, once again. The moon eventually will meet Venus in the sky on the 30th, but that's not actually, that's not until the next day, which is July 1st. But I'll cover that next week though. Yeah, I'll cover that next week. But that's your astrology for the week, you guys. That's the cosmic weather of the week of June 23rd, 2019 through the 30th of June. Don't forget to sign up for my class. Okay, it's on the 26th. It's only $9.99. It's only $10. So if you would like to learn some basics about the language of astrology, you guys know me, I'm a super nerd. I'm very detailed, but I also keep things fun and entertaining at the same time. Okay, so if you would like to participate and be able to ask questions about astrology and how to understand certain things, I will be there June 26th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, okay, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. And I think if you're like in Europe, like, you know, it's 8 hours ahead of that, so it's probably early in the morning. But if you can make it, please make it. The replay will be available, but the Q&A is only live. All right. And don't forget about the specials I have on readings for the summertime as well. So hit my website for that. Don't forget to hit me on Instagram, you guys. Don't forget to follow me on there. I do post some astrology stuff on there too. I will do some little horoscope posts in my stories and, you know, on my actual page at times. I'll post stuff when I can, like share some astrological knowledge. So follow me on Instagram. It's at Cosmic Homegirl. It's also below too. So take care. Have a great weekend. Lots of dreamer energy, lots of emo energy, because we've got the moon and the sun in water in Pisces, and then in Cancer, and all this stuff in Cancer. So try not to drown in your tears or anything like that. But, you know, still going to be an awesome weekend, the weekend of the 22nd, the 23rd, to be able to just tap into some creativity. And if you get in your feels, allow yourself to create, and, you know, maybe just have something as a beautiful outlet for those emotions, instead of wah just crying. All right, guys, so take care. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.